the seasons change. You won't always be single. But during the time that you are single, I think it's best that you embrace where you are and where God has you, so you can embrace the things that God has for you. And so that is why I wrote this book. I wrote this book because as a single woman, what better person to talk to single women? You know, we hear a lot of times um, married people who say, well, you shouldn't listen to people that are not married when they talk about relationships or marriages, right? Well, I think in the very same way, who better to understand that single season than somebody that is single and is navigating that season themselves. And so I just think this book is going to help so many people because it's helped me as I was writing the book. And I really want to demystify a whole bunch of that religious jargon that tells single women that, you know, that they're not married because they're lacking in this area. They don't know how to cook, or they don't know how to get rid of the weight, or they're not going out enough. I really wanted to talk about the timing of God, but the love of God, and how even during that time in your life as a single person, that God is still in love with you. God is still pleased with you. And that's the time to draw closer to fulfill the goals and purpose for your life that God has for you. So that when you do get married, it's a kingdom marriage that furthers the purpose that God has given you.
So explain the title, Jesus is not my boyfriend.
Okay. So you know how a lot of times you go to churches and they will tell single women, well, until God send you somebody, Jesus is your boyfriend. And then you'll hear, you know, women in church, you know, sister satisfied who tells you that she's been celibate for 25 years, and she'll start telling you about how God is my boyfriend, and you know he's with me, and that just, you know, hearing those sort of things just never sat well with me, right? Not to say that that God is not a comforter, he's our friend, he's all of those things, but boyfriend just took it to the next level for me, and I thought it was more religion than it was relationship. I think that too often we make people be afraid of being desirous of a relationship outside of God, right? The word of God is very clear. It says it's not good for man to be alone. So why would God say that if he didn't want you to desire marriage? And so I think, but where we get it, sometimes where we get off board is we sometimes assume that people want a mate more than they want their maker, right? And I think that we've got to have balance in that. And so I feel that just this title, Jesus is not your boyfriend, is about that perception. And it's about creating that balance in our lives where we understand that until God sends us a tangible man, right? That God is still very much pleased with us and our life is not lacking. Single never meant a fraction. Single is still very much whole. And so those are sort of some of the things that I'm trying to demystify in this book. And just to encourage women, single and saved or single and not saved, just encourage them to live their best life and use the wisdom of